Hey, what's up guys? My name is Fire, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 3 common mistakes to avoid making in CSGO. These are based on some things that I commonly see less experienced players doing, and they tend to negatively affect the way that you play and can be easily fixed, so let's get right into it. First, let's talk about peeking angles. Whenever I see new players playing in CSGO, they tend to do something called overcommitting. Overcommitting is when a player peeks out too far and can't handle if another player on the other team peeks out an angle that they weren't expecting them to be at. This commonly happens either when someone on your team gives a bad call, like if my teammate says somebody is at white box on cash, I would wide swing, but there could be a player in Z as well, so you have to be sure not to overcommit and rather clear out each angle slowly, because if you do something like swing too wide, you'll expose yourself to too many angles to handle. Using nades is also a good way to keep yourself from overcommitting. I always play with my new friends that aren't as experienced in game, and they always say I don't know how to use any nades, when all they really have to do is smoke off an angle and flash themselves out so you could get an advantage when peeking an enemy. It's just really simple stuff. Next, let's talk about settings. Many players, even people that have been playing the game for a long time, tend to get in the mindset that they're not using the correct settings, if they perform poorly in a couple of games in a row at least. Well, most of the time, this isn't the case at all. Staying on the same settings helps your muscle memory become a lot better, and you shouldn't change your resolution or sensitivity just based off a few bad performances, because it'll most likely make you worse. The only time you should really change your sensitivity is if you or one of your teammates point out that you're doing something like over flicking most of the times if you go to headshot an enemy, which says that your sensitivity is obviously too high. A lot of new players tend to have a really high sensitivity, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you notice yourself to continue flicking past the enemy's heads, it might be time to change it up. As for resolution, a lot of people question whether or not they should use 4:3 resolutions or 16:9. I made a completely separate video on this already, so definitely be sure to check that out if you are struggling to make the choice. That video will be linked at the top of the description. Onto mistake number 3. Once again, I'm going to be talking about grenades and how and why you should use them. Grenades like smokes can help you in things called executes. New players tend to either not buy smokes or just throw them randomly at the beginning of the round. Simply looking something up like how to smoke jungle on Mirage can easily teach you lineups that can be really beneficial to help you take a site better. Smokes can also be used to make it harder for CTs to retake a site if you throw them in afterplant situations. They're a really good way to stall time since it would force CTs to either run through the smoke or wait it out. As a CT, you can pretty much do this in the opposite way as well. Use smokes and mollies at the beginning of the round so Ts are forced to wait behind the grenade to push, or it would make them harder to push through it. For flashes, before throwing a flash, think of what it's actually going to do. A common mistake I see is players throwing a flash over a ramp at the very beginning of the round on Mirage, when they either just get mollied off right after or smoked off and then they literally can't push, so the flash literally does nothing. But a good way to use flashes is when executing a site. Throw your smoke, and as your teammates begin to push out, flash behind them so the CTs have to fall back from their position or hide and wait to re-peek again. Molotovs on T side can be used with this. Mollying a player under balcony on Mirage, for example, and then flashing can push the player into the wide open with no cover, and he'll also be blind, so you pretty much get a free kill. Grenades are an essential key to victory in CSGO, so be sure to use them correctly. And for the final tip, this one is sort of a personal thing, but avoid being toxic to teammates. If you want to say something negative, just really keep it to yourself. Keeping your team positive is one of the most important factors in CSGO. Nobody likes playing with a toxic player, and all it's going to do is get your teammates to report you, which is going to lower your trust factor so you get more toxic teammates, or your teammates are just going to start throwing the match. So definitely be sure to have a positive attitude no matter what happens in game. You and your teammates will definitely have a lot better experience, and you probably won't get lower trust factor, or your teammates will start throwing. But besides that, I hope these tips did help you guys out, whether you're a newer player or a bit more experienced. But either way, definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also smash like if you did enjoy. Also, I have a Discord now, so join that. It will be at the top of the description as well. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.